What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity. I hope you guys are doing well. I've been going back and playing a ton of older Call of Duties, and I'm just having such a blast experiencing these games over and over and over again, and getting that hit of nostalgia every time that I call in a Harrier strike in Modern Warfare 2, or get my helicopter in COD 4, or call in attack dogs or a Blackbird in Black Ops 1. It fills me with great appreciation that I got to experience and live through each game's heyday. But then it also fills me with depression and disappointment to see just how far this franchise has fallen. When I compare and contrast where Call of Duty used to be a mere 10 years ago to where it is today, it is depressing and disheartening because I see a company that has directed their franchise away from innovation and creativity and solely towards greed. They've exchanged this passion for soullessness just so that they can get a little bit more money at the end of the day, just so they can reduce the effort level a bit and increase the revenue level a bit. That's what they want. And it's very disheartening because I do believe that if Call of Duty was led by more passionate developers, that was led by a more passionate publisher that wanted to spearhead innovation, that Call of Duty would be in a totally different direction than it is now. It would be trending upwards instead of downwards. We'd be having a community that's thriving and growing instead of a community that is constantly infighting. And don't get me wrong, almost every online community is going to infight. That's part of the online experience. But I did feel that there was a little bit more cohesion back in the day than there is now. You either hate the game or you love the game. There's just that disparity between the community now that wasn't there before. It's almost like everything in life. You have complete polar opposites instead of this like very large middle ground of people that are reasonable thinkers. But that's neither here nor there. Anyways, to move on from this point, I really do believe that Call of Duty would be spearheading and innovating much better under better leadership, and they would be the golden child of the first-person shooter genre. They'd be the trendsetter instead of the trend follower. And this has been part of the problem for Call of Duty as of late. Ever since they became the trend follower, they've been falling behind within their own formula, within their own identity, within their own aesthetic. We've seen them trade in that innovation to just try to keep up to the trends. And instead, if they leveraged their name for innovation and for creativity, think what they could create. They made Halo 4, the sequel to Halo 3, one of the most successful franchises ever, completely stripped down their multiplayer and change it up completely. Inserting creative classes, inserting ordnance drops that were reminiscent of kill streaks. That was because of Call of Duty. They also inserted sprint to be all the time so that the games would be faster paced, similar to Call of Duty. That was because Call of Duty was at the mecca of everything. They were in this exponential growth phase and everybody wanted to get a piece of them. And unfortunately, as Call of Duty has regressed and they've chosen to prioritize greed over innovation and creativity, they've now become the followers. They're the ones going out and trying to be like Fortnite, like Apex Legends, like Rainbow Six Siege. They're taking aspects from other games and instead of enhancing them or innovating on them, they're just ripping them straight out of it and giving it a little Call of Duty flair and calling it a day. This isn't the Call of Duty that also created Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. And it's very noticeable because when I play these older games, you can tell there is a cohesive identity to them. When you play the games today, there is no cohesion. Even if you play the last 4 Call of Duties, which would be Modern Warfare 2019, Black Ops Cold War, Vanguard, and Modern Warfare 2 2022, it would be extremely hard to see a cohesive identity. Whereas if you look at COD 4 all the way through Black Ops 2, there is a distinct identity to those games. They are arena shooters at their core. I cannot say the same about the current run of Call of Duty games because I do not feel they are arena shooters at their core. They're trying to be so many different things and trying to please so many different people instead of focusing on what works. And that was the beauty of the older Call of Duty games. Yes, sometimes they lacked a little bit of innovation, but they knew that their formula worked and they stuck to it. They brought in developers that were passionate about bringing Call of Duty players the best experience possible, about fulfilling this community's very high expectations. Whereas now you have developers that are just trying to meet the expectations of Infinity Ward and of Activision, instead of trying to fulfill anything from the community whatsoever. If you imported where the Call of Duty community is today, back 10 years, you'd have a much more prosperous community. You'd have a much more prosperous Call of Duty League, much more prosperous YouTube network on Call of Duty, a much more prosperous Twitch network, because of the fact that the community would get behind these older games. They'd get behind good game design versus what you have now, which is soulless, lifeless, and identityless. Call of Duty has moved so far away. It's almost as if they listened to every single person that said they never innovated and overcorrected. Decided it was more important just to change features for the sake of changing features instead of looking at what was the best for their game. I talked yesterday about how map voting was removed from Call of Duty. I still don't know why that was done, why Modern Warfare 2 chose to do that. Still don't know why they decided to change the perk system. None of this was to enhance the game. None of this was to innovate, but it was to showcase that, hey, we can change things up. Look at us trying to be creative. What would have been creative is finding ways to enhance the current system and listening to feedback to better implement the system. Instead, what they did was they released a system, plugged their ears, scream la 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 la, and just let the game die by its own merits instead of listening to the community. And that was the biggest slap in the face. I'm still so disappointed that Infinity Ward decided to just not listen to their community, decided to turn their backs on them from day one and not make the necessary enhancements and changes that Modern Warfare 2 desperately needed, and just decided to tread down this path of disappointment. And I know there's going to be some people out there that are going to argue and they're going to say, well, Modern Warfare 2 from 2009 had the YouTube problem and it took them, they never fixed it. Well, you're right. That is something that Modern Warfare 2 had. And I'm not going to argue that because it's still prevalent today. But what wasn't happening now, that was happening back then, was a massive lawsuit between the developers and the publisher that prevented the developers from releasing the update they wanted to release that would have fixed noob tubes. And it's an easy fix. I think we can all agree that if noob tubes just took up your first perk slot like they used to, there'd be no scavenger, no one-man army. And it would be a perfectly fine change. But here we are. This is the situation we're in. Yes, Modern Warfare 2 from 2009 isn't perfect, but it stands on its own merits. It is miles ahead from whatever awfulness we have now with Modern Warfare 2 in 2022. And I can only imagine what Modern Warfare 3 is going to look like here in 2023. Because I don't have very high hopes. Do you? That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to let me know how you feel about the current direction of Call of Duty or how we could leverage the legacy of Call of Duty to enhance future games, leave a comment down below in that comment section. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time.